subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send prayers and salutation for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, household, and companions. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all tawfiq and ikhlas in our affairs. Amen. Inshallah ta'ala. This will be a muhadara to advise our sisters in Islam in relation to their husbands or brothers that are willing and ready to get second, third, or fourth wife when they are the first or second or third wife. And we're going to share this into, firstly, we're going to speak about the men first. That is the advice to brothers who wants to make ta'addud. Then secondly, we're going to go to the sisters, inshallah ta'ala, because the advice must not be focused on one side and forget the other side. As if we do so, it's like we've done something that is not good. But ala kulli hal, as I said, inshallah, we're going to make it two-way. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ad-deenu an-nasiha." Ad-deen is advice. From this hadith, inshallah, we're going to make this muhadara as an advice to brothers and to sisters who are willing to do ta'addud, and sisters who are in the house already of their husbands, then second, third, or fourth wife will be coming. What are the steps to take, inshallah, and what are the things to do? Firstly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made zawaj as something blessed, and it is from the tashri'at of this sharia, from the rulings, the ahkam of the sharia, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it permissible for the men to marry and the women to marry. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, "Ankihu ma taba lakum min an-nisa'i mathna wa thulatha wa ruba'." Ankihu, He said that you should marry ma taba lakum, from the women that are beloved to you and you see them as purified, and you love them. Min an-nisa'i, from the women. Ma taba lakum min an-nisa'i mathna, 2. Wa thulatha, 3. Wa ruba', 4. Fa in khiftum, if you fear Allah ta'adilu, that you're not going to be just among these women, fawahidatan, just take one. Aw ma malakat aymanukum, or that which the Sharia has made lawful for you to take. The time of the Arabs, they have servants, female servants. Now, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ إِنْ يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. In this ayah, Allah is urging us to marry the ayama, that is the female women, the women among the Muslims, was-salihin. Not just getting married, that is the thing, but marry. Who are you going to marry? Look what Allah has said. Minkum was-salihina min ibadikum wa imaikum. Marry between each other from the servants of Allah. This is one of the sifa. Then two, yani was salihin, and yani righteous, yani those who are righteous among them. So that means when you want to get married, you're not just ready, yani you are ready for marriage. That's all. No, that's not the aim. Who are you going to marry? This should be the greatest concern of each one of us, male and female. Who are you going to marry? طيب. Then Allah says, إن يكونوا فقراء يغنيهم الله من فضله. That married, if you are poor, verily Allah will enrich you from His goodness and His favors. Now, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned, يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج. الباءة يعني القوة، القدرة المالية، القدرة البدنية وغيرها من يعني الباءات. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever among you the youths is able, فليتزوج, let him marry. For verily فإنه أغض للبصر, that is a means for him to protect his eyes from watching the muharramat, وأحسن للفرج, and a means for him to protect his farj, his private part. أكرمكم الله. ومن لم يستطع, the one who is not able, the nafaqa, or the qudratu maliya or qudratu badaniya, Allah said, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَعَلَيْهِ بِالصَّوْمِ, let the person hold on to fastings. فَإِنَّهُ لَهُ وِجَاءَ, for verily there is a means of protection through that, inshallah. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, تَزَوَّجُوا الْوَدُودَ الْوَلُودَ, marry women from those that you love and they love you, and al-walud, those who give birth to a lot of children. فإني مكاثر بكم الأنبياء يوم القيامة. Another hadith, فإني مكاثر بكم الأمم يوم القيامة, that يوم القيامة he will have a lot of group among the umam, people follow him صلى الله عليه وسلم. طيب. So from this we learn that zawaj, marrying, is something that is legislated in the Sharia. That is legislated in the Sharia. طيب. Now, Allah, He said, فَانْكِهُ مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. Where did Allah start? You can tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where did Allah start from the numbers? Anyone can tell me? Barakallahu fikum. Are you with me? Who can tell me where did Allah start from calling the numbers? تسمعوني يا إخوة؟ أنتم نائمون? Are you sleeping? Allah started with numbers. Where did Allah start? Which number did Allah start with when He says you should marry from the females that you like and you see that they are purified and you love them? Where did Allah start? فَانْكِهُ مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. What's the first number? مثنى. This is the first number. مثنى. أنتم نائمون. You guys are sleeping. You're sleeping? Okay, you're gonna wake. Okay, inshallah. هذا الوقت ليس وقت النوم، إن شاء الله. هذا وقت التعلم بإذن الله. طيب. الحمد لله. ربنا يبارك فيكم. وفقكم الله. طيب. Now, so Allah started with 2, isn't it? طيب. Now, why did Allah start with 2 instead of starting with 1? Because the asl of zawaj is 2, not 1. The asl of zawaj is 2, not 1. طيب. Then from there, he mentioned 3. He mentioned 4. Then in a case of excuse, in a case of being not just, he gave you the condition to get only 1. So from here you learn that if you know that you're not going to be just take 1 and forget about the rest. طيب. And when it comes to the just, are you able to be just with 2 or 3, 4 women that you marry together? Allah said, وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أن تعدلوا بين النساء ولو حرصتم. Hmm? ولو حرصتم. The just that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about, that is the just of spending of them. Spending on them, like for example, you spend on this on the yani, then you spend yani the way you spend on this, that's the same you should spend on the other. And the way yani, if for example the nights that you're gonna sleep to this, how many nights, that is the same nights that you're gonna sleep to the other. The time that you have with this, that is the same time you should have with the other. The ishra, as Allah said, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, live with them in goodness, in righteousness. طيب, when Allah says وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ, that you will not be able to be just among the females, this is like when it comes to the love of these young wives that you've married, there will be one among them that the love is not the same with the other. Same as the love that you might have for the first one, maybe might not be the love that you have for the second, or maybe it might not be the love that you have for the third, or maybe it might not be the love you have for the fourth. The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is an example in this, as he requested to Allah that Allah should not hold him for what he doesn't have ability of. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He used to love Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha till the extent the other wives, like Aisha radiallahu ta'ala an, become jealous. Hmm? طيب. Same as Aisha, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to love her, sorry, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to love Aisha till the other wives, they become jealous. So you see, the issue of the love for the wives, you won't be able to be just in this, ya ikhwa. Now, you won't be able to be just in this because this is something that is not in your ability to control. But you should moderate. Even if you love one of them, even if you love one of them more than the others, you should be moderate. Hmm? The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a good example in moderates when it comes to al-wasatiyah. The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to love Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, but the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not do the worst yani, against the other wives. Now, he gave Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam all of the rights of all of the wives. This is the great example. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. So from here, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a qudwa for us, is a role model for us when it comes to emulating him in everything that we want to do and have success in. طيب. Now, firstly, let's go to the advice of brothers who are willing and ready to marry sisters. What are some of the advice that we give them and after getting married to these sisters? طيب. The first advice, do not accept a sister that she gives you a condition not to marry a second wife, a third wife, or a fourth wife. Do not accept this kind of contracts. لماذا? Why? Because a contract like this, if you accept it, you will surely regret it. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayru. For verily, in ta'addud, a lot of khair. In ta'addud, a lot of khair. If a sister gives you this kind of condition, try to convince her with the benefits of it. Mention the ayat and the other ahadith and the qisas as-salaf. If she rejects all of this, the rejection is in two ways. The rejection is in two ways. Some of them, they reject it not because Allah have legislated it, but because of the natural way Allah created them. And some of them, they reject it, hating that which Allah has legislated. If that is the case, then this is kufr. But if yani, hating it is just because of the too much ghira or jealousy, then this is not kufr. طيب. I hope that is clear for you, inshallah. طيب. Now, then, this is the first advice. If she gives you this condition, try to convince her Speak with her, inshallah, then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, maybe you will be able to convince her and accept. But if not, the first advice is I do not allow, I do not advise any brother to accept any sister that gives this kind of condition. Secondly, the second advice for the brother that is willing to get married to a second wife is that you need to be prepared. You are coming into a battle that will be a means for you to enter Jannah or enter Jahannam. That Yawm al-Qiyamah, a man will come who have been unjust within his wives. He will receive something that is very difficult for him, which will be the anger of Allah and the punishment of Allah because of him not be just among his wives. So be prepared of what you're going into. This is a task that you will stand before Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, and Allah will ask you about them, about this task that Allah has given you. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. طيب. This is the second advice. Be ready for this. The third advice, make sure that if you want to get a second wife, the condition of how you are living with the first wife must not change because you want to get a second wife. The good ishra, the good living with the first wife, the way you used to speak with her, the way you used to have time with her, the way you used to talk and chat together. Let that not stop because you want to get a second wife. Do not do that, because if you do that, this is a sign that the moment that the second wife is at home, then the first wife will be like a trash. May Allah save us. Now, for you, this is the third advice. I hope you're writing them down, inshallah. Do not stop the good ishra, the good living with the first wife because you want to marry a second wife. Do not do that. The fourth advice is you must try to be strong, healthily and financially. Healthily, that is from Allah. Financially, is from Allah. But you need to give the asbab. Then depend upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You must be healthy, physically. طيب, to give the right of these women that you've married. Then you must be strong financially by having, I don't say you must be rich like a billionaire. That's not what I'm saying. But you should have something to take care of these wives. Now, you should have something to take care of these wives. For verily, this is one of the conditions that makes you to marry a second wife. If not, then do not. طيب. How much advice do we got now? We got how much advice? 4. طيب. The fifth advice, when you want to get married to the second or third or fourth wife, make sure you choose from a good family. When I say a good family, a family of Islam, a family that loves knowledge, and choose a sister that loves knowledge, and she is loved in seeking knowledge and spending time in seeking knowledge. Because if you get your first wife, she is able to do these things. She loves knowledge. She is willing to seek knowledge and give her time in seeking knowledge and watch things that will increase her iman and teach the children at home. If you get a second wife that is the opposite of this sister, that is the first wife, it might be a sabab for the first wife to be changed to another thing. And the children might be changed to the other thing. You see? So because of that, try to make sure you get a good wife from a good family that loves knowledge. Now, do not marry from, this is the fifth. Now, the sixth one, do not marry from a family that is known for bid'ah. Do not marry from a family that is known for bid'ah. Do not do that, because this will be a fitna for you and a fitna for the family. A family that is known for the sunnah, try to get a wife from there. For verily, things will be very easy for you, and Allah will put barakah in your marriage. The seventh advice is that after you've married the sister, that is the second or the third or the fourth, try before marrying the first sister, that sorry, the second sister, that we live together with the first sister, the first wife. Why? Why should they live together? Because living together, a lot of advantage than the disadvantage, as far as I know. Mhm. One of the advantages, you will have time with both of them at the same time. Secondly, there will be love, kindness between these two wives and their children. Thirdly, this will reduce the expenditure on you. Fourthly, this will help you to teach all of them together without struggling, to oversee all of them within a blink of an eye or within seconds. طيب, try to convince the sister, that is the first wife, so that the second wife will be together with her in the same home. And another thing, because if they are separated, there might be a grudge between these two wives and their children. That is because the second wife might think that the first wife doesn't like her. So because of that, uh, the first wife didn't allow her to be in the same home with her. Or sometimes the children might get enmity for themselves. Now, so but if they are living together, there will be love between these two wives in cooperating in the house, protecting the home, protecting the secret of the home, bringing up the children, both of them, their own children, or all of them, upon that which you are teaching them together. And this will reduce your struggling of going there, coming here, going here, coming there. But if they are at the same place, then this will be reduced. And I've seen in my country here, as an example of people who marry second, third, or fourth wife. They live in different size. At the end, it brings up a lot of chaos, a lot of struggle for the man and the family. Now, by separating them, by having grudge for themselves, this one causing this other one, these other children hate this others, yani, these other women, yani, women's children, like that. And I've seen that and I've had that in here, Sarah, in here. So the advice is try very hard to convince the first wife with tawfiq of Allah, by seeking the help of Allah, that they stay together, they live together. Then after you've married this sister, this second wife, make sure you teach both of them together. Spend your time in teaching them. Na'am, the deen, the things that are yani, an obligation for every Muslim to know. The others, alhamdulillah, that's yani, from the favor of Allah. But make sure the things that are wajibat, you try to teach them. Na'am, the aqidah, the way of bringing children upon the aqidah. Teach them these things and spend your time in teaching them. Now, then the last advice, you need to be patient with them. Now, a Muslim, if he hates one thing from a Muslimah, there is another thing that will bring the love of the Muslimah to her. This is the qawl of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طيب. Barakallahu fikum. This is the first advice that I have for me and you brothers that are ready to get second wives, inshallah. Then to the sisters, barakallahu fikunna wa barakallahu fikum jami'a. طيب. The first advice that I have for you sisters is that, alhamdulillah, it is from the favor of Allah to make you Muslim. It is from the favor of Allah that you've protected yourself. Now, your honor, your respect, till you marry to the one that Allah has destined for you. This is from the fadl of Allah upon you. See, sisters, with your same age, sisters, you live together in the same city, how they are living, how their life is. So you need to be thankful to Allah for this goodness, that Allah help you to protect yourself till the time for marriage, after get married to the right person that Allah has destined for you. This is the first thing you need to be thankful. Then secondly, if you might be the first wife, the advice is firstly for the first wife to the second, then to the second wife. If you are the first wife, you are a Muslim, always have it at the back of your mind that your husband might get second wife or third wife or fourth wife. Always get this. Why? Because you've read the Quran, and you see in the Quran that Allah orders. Yani the order here is not wajib. Sometimes it might be wajib for the man to marry second wife. Sometimes. But generally, the command there is not wajib. For you to get second, third, or fourth wife is not wajib. Now, so with this, you should get this in the mind. And if the husband didn't tell you about getting a second wife, then you try to convince him to get a second wife. But this is very difficult to see. To see a first wife, encouraging her husband to get a second wife. Now, why can you do that? Because there is a lot of goodness in you, convincing him to get a second wife. Because any child that is going to be born in this family with the second wife, you're going to have a lot of barakah from there. And any goodness that happens between them, you're going to have a lot of barakah there. The second advice that I have for you, the first wife, is that do not change your mood, your obedience, your kindness, your love, your respect that you used to have for your husband before he intended or get the second wife. Do not change any of them. Do not change them, because when you change them, if they are Allah, this might lead him to do the worst in your life. You see? Now, do not change all of these things. Be kind. Be someone that is humble. Someone that have respect, as you used to be when you are the only wife in the house. When you are the only wife in the house. When you do this, this will increase love for the man, for you too. Now, but if you turn against the husband, this will be a sabab for him to be very dangerous if the man doesn't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third advice that I have, if you see the husband is struggling in how to make the family be together, you give him words of courage. Tell him the virtue of marrying one wife. By that, because you are doing that which Allah has ordered, that the husband is doing that which Allah has ordered, and you might be the sabab for him to do that. So give him these ayats. For verily no one do that which Allah has ordered except there is a lot of goodness in that, in this world and the hereafter. Then the next advice is that you must know that the love that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in the heart for you, for that man, should not go away for any reason. Let that be there. Your main focus in situations like this is that you try very hard to do a thing that which will lead Allah to be pleased with you for your husband. Do a thing, obedient acts, good and kind words that will be a sabbath for Allah be pleased with you. Do not busy yourself with the second wife, then you forget your own duty as a wife in the home, then this will bring the anger of Allah to you. Do not abuse yourself with this. Naam, it is normal and natural that jealousy is part of how Allah have created women. But know that if you don't jealous your husband, then you don't love him anymore. Naam, you don't like him anymore. You might get jealous, but control it. Have limit in it, so that this will not lead to something very dangerous for you and the family. Then the husband is someone, is a man. He is reliable to fall into mistakes by speaking, by action, most especially when he is not known for these kind of things. He is a calm and kind person before getting married to the second and after getting married to the second. Then he is still with these kind of situations, being a kind and respectable man. Then try very hard to take excuse for him. Try very hard to pardon his mistakes, because he is not perfect. He falls into mistake at any time. For verily, if you be kind with him, Allah will be kind with you, and Allah will put barakah in your marriage. Naam. Do not leave up anything that you used to do, which is goodness, for your husband when he gets the second wife. Never do that. Because if you do that, that is fitna. Then the other advice for you sisters is that you being the second wife is better for you, or you being the first wife is a goodness for you, than being out there without a husband. Why did Allah legislate that the men should marry 1, 2, 3? Because He know that the women in every time and generation, the women are plenty than the men. How many women are out there that are ready to get married, but until now they've not get suitors yet? Now, so imagine your daughter, you the first wife, is at the age of marriage, but there is no man coming for her to get married to her. Will you be happy for this? Or you will be happy for this by carrying the sin of that child when she has reached the age of maturity of marriage, of puberty. You know, when the man and the woman, they reach the age of puberty, the age of puberty of getting married, their lives become in need to a partner. Wallahi la ilaha ghayru. Their lives, their desires is going to be high and increasing every time and getting to a partner together. And this have led some brothers and some sisters to masturbation and other stuffs. So would you like your wife, so your daughter, to be in a state like this, or for a man with a first wife to come and marry her, which is a man upon the good thing? Would you like this? So now you see the thing. So now think about the other daughter of another family that is there, which has reached the age of marriage, but yet there is no man coming for him to marry. Will you be happy for that sister, who is your Muslim sister, to be out there as the public property, akramakumullah, as the public property, as they call them, than your wife being, your sister in Islam being the second wife? Will you be happy for which one of the two? I believe no woman with the taqwa of Allah will be happy to see her sister that is upon the deen roaming about there, after this man, after that man. She will never be happy for that. Nah, because she knows that the duty of her is to protect her sister, and the way of protecting that sister from zina is by helping her to get married to your husband. So the way that you want your daughter, who have reached the age of marriage, and she is not married yet, and you fear that she is committing sins secretly that you don't know, and you will be responsible for those sins, you'll be happy for a man with first wife to come and take her, inshallah, in accordance to the Sharia, than being in the house there. Same as put your daughter, that sister, the child of the other family, in your own shoes. When you do this, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Watch out the sisters there, the Muslim sisters, how their lives have become today, or the sisters in generally. But you've been a sabab for the sister to marry to your husband. Maybe this will be a sabab for her to change completely, and whatever good deed should be done or is done by that sister or that man through that sister, or with and both of them, you're going to attain something there. طيب, as a first wife, you have a lot of responsibility in the home. As the first wife, you have a lot of responsibility in the home by trying very hard to bring up together the family. How do you do this? You, as the first wife, you do this by encouraging the second wife. Do not malice her, or do not think like she is someone extra to you. La, think that like the way that you want your daughter, if she is married to that man with his first wife, the way you want your daughter to be treated by this first wife and that family, take the sister that your husband is going to marry in the same way as you want your daughter to be treated. Very good, very calm, in a respective way. As Allah, the Rasul said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. With this, Wallahi الذي لا إله غيره, Allah will put barakah in your marriage, and will put barakah in your children, and Allah will grant you the pleasure of entering Jannah. And remember the hadith. The Rasul said, a woman that passed away and the husband is pleased with her will enter Jannah if she prays 5 times a day and guide her and protect herself. If the husband is not pleased with her, this will not take her to Jannah, no matter what she has done. Then, the last advice for the sisters, the first wives, is that do not request for al-khul when your husbands intend to marry first wife, a second wife. I heard this from some brothers that most especially the West, they say when they want to, some brothers, they said when you say you're going to marry second wife, the first wife, or some of them, not all of them, they will request for khula. As you refer to it as divorce, but it's not divorce in Islam. They call it as al-khula. The Rasul said in the hadith, a woman that asks her husband for a khula without a valid excuse, according that the Sharia accept as an excuse, will not smell the smell or the fragrance of Jannah in any way. This is a hadith. A woman that requests for al-khula with her husband without a legislated reason, this woman will not smell the fragrance of Jannah in any way. So think about this hadith, then fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, allow your husband to get the first wife, and you compete together between the first, the second wife, and the third and the fourth wife. Compete now in getting the pleasure of your husband, as this will be a sabbath for you to enter Jannah. This should be your main focus and attention. What should I do as a wife to get the pleasure of Allah and to get the pleasure of my husband? Because you get the pleasure of your husband, you're going to get the pleasure of Allah. If the husband is not pleased with you, Allah will not be pleased with you, as in the hadith. This should be your aim and your goal. And you should help the second sister again, to that which will help the husband be pleased with her. Because the aim is that all of us want to enter Jannah. That's the aim. And we want to help each other to enter Jannah. That's the aim. If not, then there is no benefit in anything that we do. The aim, I want to enter Jannah, the same as I want you to enter Jannah. That is why we should advise ourselves. We should recommend good things for ourselves. We should advise ourselves when we make mistakes. We should feel free in accepting corrections. Because if you do accept correction, this is going to be a lot of fitna for you and a lot of fitna for the family. This is the advice that I have for the first wife. Then the second wife who is going to come, inshallah, if you're going to be the second wife for the husband, the advice that I have for you is that the first thing is you need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and know that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala is the one that have destined for that to happen. Because some sisters, when they are married as second wives, they they become like tyrants in the home. I don't know if that is how it is called. Uh, Upon the first wife. They bring issues that are not true. They bring false stories, lies for the husband to hate the first wife. Now, for the husband to hate the first wife. So you need to fear Allah in this. For verily, whoever accuses a Muslimah or a Muslim for a thing that the person have not done, let that person know that وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ, that the people who they harm Allah by worshipping other than Allah, by insulting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by calling other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ, and those who harm the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam by insulting him, by bringing bid'ah into the deen, by making doing action that opposes his what the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam have taught. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, في الدنيا والآخرة, in this dunya and يوم إن الذين يؤذون الله ورسوله لعنهم الله, the cause of Allah is upon them. Allah has driven them, throw them away from His mercy, this dunya and يوم القيامة. وأعد لهم عذابا مهينا, and Allah have prepared for them a disgraceful punishment. And Allah said, والذين يؤذون المؤمنين والمؤمنات بغير ما اكتسبوا فقد احتملوا بهتانا وإثما مبينا. Subhanallah. That those who hurts and being good to the believers, the man and the woman, with that which they have not done, or that which they have not said, or that which they are accused of, without a valid proof. Let that people know that فَقَدْ احْتَمَلُوا بُهْتَانٍ, they have committed a greatest of fabrication, وَإِثْمًا, and a great sin mubina, that is clear. So know that it is very dangerous for you in accusing the first wife of doing something or saying something that is not how it is. It is, because if you do that so that the first wife might be the husband might hate the first wife, know that the love of Allah, you will never attain it in this kind of situation. And know that وَلَا يَحِيقُ الْمَكْرُ سَيِّئُ إِلَّا بِأَهْلِهِ, a bad plot plotted by anyone will be the one that will get from it. No one will get from it, either in this world or Yawm al-Qiyamah. You plot evil for the first wife so that the husband should hate the first wife and the children of the first wife. Know that this will turn back to you. For verily the husband might get a third wife, and Allah will make it as a payback to you with the third wife to your husband. So fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. One of you will not be a believer until he loves his brother or sister what he loves for himself. طيب, the other advice that I have for you, you ask the second wife, sit with the first wife, have dialogue with her, speak with her, have time with her, so that she teaches you things that the husband loves, things that will make the husband become happy, things that will bring love and happiness in the home, things that will make the husband become angry, that will make the husband lose his temper, everything. Try to sit with the first wife, because she has lived with the first wife and she knows, maybe let's say she knows 90% of the husband. So sit with her, the first wife, have time with her. So teach asking her things that will bring barakah, things that will help you protect your marriage and the family. Now, do not feel big or proud to the first wife. Do not feel this, because when you feel this is the beginning of your downfall in the home. This is the beginning of your downfall in the home. But you must be kind. You must be respectful always to that first wife. And you must love. When I say is wajib, why is it wajib for you to love the first wife's children? Because you don't know how they're going to be tomorrow. Or you don't know. You're going to be passing away within few minutes or few months or few years. You don't know. The first wife will be there. Take the children of this first wife as your biological children. Love them as how you love the children, your own children. And even if it costs you to love those children more than your own children, do that. For verily, this will bring love again and kindness for you between the first wife. But if you hate the children of the first wife, you don't want to see them, You don't want to talk to them. You don't want to you don't want to see them improve in any goodness. The first wife might not be happy about this, and this will start a chaos in the house, in the home. We start problem in the home, and this is not how it should be. Love the children of the first wife. Be kind to them. Uh, Take them as your own children. Plan and hope for goodness for them. Make dua for them. With this, you will attain the happiness that you, inshallah, you are hoping for. طيب? Then, if your husband is going to marry third wife, which you are the second, do not stop him, because the first wife have not stopped the husband from marrying you. So you do not stop the man from marrying the third wife. You too be the sabab to encourage him to get the third wife. And when the third come, the third might be the second, the one to encourage to get the fourth wife. And all of this advice, I summarize them all in the advice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us, which is the advice of the taqwa of Allah. For verily, a house that is built upon the taqwa of Allah will never be a house of separation, will never be a house of destruction, will never be a house of loss, will never be a house of distraction, but that house will be a house of barakah, a house that which Allah loves, a house that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with the people of the house. Now, the fear of Allah is the khair, is the key, is the goodness of everything in the dunya and Yawm al-Qiyamah. So with this is what I have for me and you brothers and sisters, inshallah. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make me benefit from them, and I ask Allah to make you benefit from them too. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all ikhlas and tawfiq and thabat in our fears, and make us righteous, and grant us righteous spouse and righteous children. Ameen. Barakallahu fikum. Inshallah, if anyone of you have anything to ask, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, faddalu. Iyakum. Anyone of you have anything to ask, inshallah? Antum na'imun? Abdurrahman, are you sleeping? I think Abdurrahman have already slept. طيب. May Allah bless this brother, huh? I think it's almost 1 to 2 p.m. in his 2 a.m. his time, but yet he gives time for the classes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and make him beneficial for himself and his family and the ummah. Ameen. I really admire the brother. Allah is better than me. Now, look how he's doing this time, huh? It's like 1 or 2 a.m. I think his time, but it's very difficult for him to be absent in the lessons. Now, may Allah bless him and the lessons beneficial for us all. Ameen. Barakallahu fikum. So, you don't have anything to ask, inshallah? Then that means we should stop here at the moment. Huh? طيب. بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا وأحسن الله إليكم ونسأل الله التوفيق في سائر أمورنا كلها. آمين.